Hey friends, welcome back. I'm coming to you late night with a little bit of tea. I just brewed some black tea with some chamomile. I know that sounds counterproductive, and a little bit of lemon balm, but I have some tea, I have some thoughts, and I have some tincture that I want to make. It's technically like a synergy tincture, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I have a new book that I've been reading. I absolutely love it. The Ancient Remedies Revealed. Try not to get a glare. I think I have like a code with them, but I've just been loving this. There's just so much valuable information, and it's just right there, written plain as day, and you don't really find that a lot in the herbalism community. So yes, I'm excited. Welcome if you're new. My name is Tori. I make videos about preparedness, but recently kind of had a content shift. A few years now, I've been just really trying to get our family out of the medical system. I've tried to clean up our diets and our health, and we are not perfect, but we've come such a long way, and I'm so proud of us. So I've really been trying to focus that content on there and how it relates to preparedness. If you don't have your health or your wellness, and health can be mental or physical, you really aren't prepared. And I feel like in the preparedness space, there's talk about a lot of doom and gloom, and I have seen here and there just some people that I connect with in the community, some other creators that really do emphasize being prepared in a variety of ways. So I love that, but I've really been trying to emphasize that, and I've really been trying to bring a positive, just level-headed approach to preparedness, because I think everyone should be prepared. You never know what's going to happen, and what could it hurt? So I, as a mother of three, love being prepared. I love talking about it, and I love taking you all on the journey, because there's so many different facets of preparedness and how it relates to the individual person or family. So long-winded intro, what's new here? I'll probably talk your ear off, but cheers. Let me know what you're drinking in the caption. We shall call this a beverage chat. The first one in Pennsylvania, which is cool. If you're new here, we moved to Pennsylvania. I'll probably say that in every video too. So cheers. So I'm very excited tonight. A big announcement was made. I'm sure you all know or have heard, or maybe you've heard me talk about him, but RFK essentially was appointed to be a big part of this cabinet, and I'm just so excited and relieved, and I have feelings of hope and happiness. He has to get through some like Senate hearings and such, but I do have faith. I really do, and tonight I feel good. And it's hard. It's hard on this channel. It's hard in, I guess, content creation in general to get political. And I never try to, because people always get mad at me when I do. But this is personal, and it has been for a long time. So I'm going to share some of my truth with you, some of my story, and some of my daughter's story, because she is the reason that we made this switch. And I just feel validated now that he's in office. For years, I have been mocked. I have been called a conspiracy theorist. I have just been told I'm downright wrong. And it's the most awful feeling when the very thing that you're experiencing is just immediately called crazy, or just told right to your face that it's not happening. By friends and family, and I think that was the hardest part for me, trying to grasp why someone was so afraid of the truth that they were willing to just throw caution to the wind, I guess, and put everything down, everything that she was experiencing. I mean, if it was me, I don't think I would have been offended. I'm in my 30s and I really don't care, but I saw with my own very eyes, the system fail my daughter, and it was very, very challenging for me to see people that I knew and loved tell me how wrong I was, especially from a distance. Some people, said it behind my back. Some people didn't have to say it. They did it with their actions. And, I talked about it on the other channel. I'm kind of experiencing that right now. I guess like a fallout of coming home and expecting these relationships to be here, and I've been working on that a lot. I'm trying not to ramble. I promise there's a point. I've been working on that a lot, just not putting all of my energy into these relationships when it's not reciprocated. That's totally a me problem, but I have found common interest with the people that matter, and I feel like that's what's important. So all that to say, my daughter, when she was 1 year old, unfortunately came down with Guillain-Barré. They didn't know what it was. She was very young, so immediately they treated her for what they thought was botulism. And that's something in itself. Now I'm talking with pediatric neurologists that kind of jumped ship and went the natural way. And she was incredible to me in Colorado, and she really brought me to the root cause of why my daughter could have gotten Guillain-Barré, especially if they had tested for every single thing that could have caused that, and they all came back negative. So it left one culprit, and I try not to talk about it mainly because I'll be shadow banned, but you'll have to just gather the information and go from there. It was part of the 9-month recommended schedule by our pediatrician, and back then I didn't really know. I wasn't down the rabbit hole. I thought I was doing what we were supposed to do to keep our children safe. I was fearful, and that's something that I can confidently say I'm no longer. I don't fear that. I have confidence in our health and our wellness. But yeah, it was the 9-month recommended schedule for children that turned out to be the culprit. And the worst part about it all was the treatment, and then understanding how the treatment can cause issues later on in life. So the disease itself, which is an autoimmune issue, can cause issues for her entire life. But the protocol that they use to heal her also has caused issues. So back to it, the botulism antitoxin, which coincidentally there is a hub in Pennsylvania and one in California. We were in Pennsylvania when this happened, and somehow they didn't have enough, is my understanding. So it was flown in from California. And again, I'm not a medical person. I'm just a mother who went through a pretty traumatic experience with her daughter and did extensive research to the point where it consumed me, and in ways it still does. But I have done so much research with information that isn't available and gone to great lengths to find some of this information. So that was another part of it, just like having people say, you're wrong, without ever truly knowing or doing any digging themselves, just, trusting what the powers of that be have taught us, which is a problem in itself. So with that being said, I don't truly know if I am 100% factual, but I'm trying my best. And with the information that I've gathered, I am using a healing protocol, and it's working for us. So in the botulism antitoxin, I believe it comes from a horse, is my understanding, and there's heavy amounts of mercury in it, which is scary. And then it turned out that she didn't even have botulism, and I'd love for you to do a quick little Google search on how much antitoxin would be if you ever did need it, because that was pretty incredible in itself. And the kicker, if you're new here, the kicker is insurance didn't cover it. We entered in the wrong door, I think, is my understanding, and they didn't cover it. And that bill was more than a house. So we dealt with that. We're dealing with that. It's just another system failure, and you'll probably hear me say that a lot. So it wasn't botulism. And I have humor in this because I'm trying not to get emotional. This is my way of coping still after all of this time. So they tested her. They put her down with a tube and did some sort of scan where they found that she had nerve damage to nerves 6, 7, and 8. And unfortunately, that affected her hearing and her vision. And if you look at Guillain-Barré, it closely resembles a disease that people are very afraid of. So look into that too. But it attacks everything. It attacks your ability to walk, talk, sit up, swallow, open your eyes, hear, just everything you don't want taken away from your 1-year-old who just learned how to do all of those things. So that in itself was a challenge. This little video isn't to get on here and make you feel bad, but I do love that I'm able to share this with you. It's never to scare you, but it kind of gives you an idea of where this channel got to. And I feel like that's important right now, especially with the good news tonight, because finally I can breathe this sign of relief. So yeah, turns out there was nerve damage, and they went back and forth as to what it could be, and decided that it was Guillain-Barré, and that was a whole decision. I did like that they included me in the decision-making process, but it was very daunting and a little bit, I guess, like threatening, just because, not threatening to me in a danger scenario, but just I wasn't equipped with the knowledge, and it was scary. So I trusted the only experts that I knew, which were the doctors at the time. And, you know, I never want to blame them, because I feel like they thought they were doing what was best for her, and they did heal her, and it helped in that moment, but she will suffer some long-term complications because of that protocol. And just feel like I wish I knew then what I know now, and the research that I've done, because I just feel like there could have been other ways to heal her. So they healed her with IVIG therapy because of her age, and that in itself has some issues that will be hard for her 4-year-old body to detox from. So we'll have to deal with that. Eventually we got out of the hospital. She had to learn to do all of those skills again. You know, we had these problems, and I always said I wouldn't share her story because it's her story, and I didn't want to embarrass her or give out her vulnerability, but I probably won't ever go into detail about some of the things that we dealt with, and it was terrifying. So that being said, that is our story. That is my personal story as to why we chose to leave the system that we left. And, you know, here we are. Of course, so many of you have told me some horror stories that you've had with the medical system, and I myself have too. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted by the heater, but maybe it was a good thing because I was rambling. So that is my story. And from there, we've switched everything: what we eat, the clothes that we wear, basically everything. I can't think of anything that we haven't switched. And I've seen firsthand literally every day what it has done for my family and for some of my extended family and friends who had questions. And I'm no expert. A lot of people say, like, where's your college degree? I mean, I do have a college degree. It's not in, you know, nutrition or, you know, being a dietitian, anything in the medical system. I was a teacher, studio art, and then master's in education. So I don't think a degree always, you know, makes its worth in these conversations, especially when you go through something as rare as a poke injury, because it's a scary experience and you learn so much. And if there's only one government funded piece of information, it really is mind-boggling that there's nothing on the other side, nothing conflicting. And I thank an infectious disease doctor every single day for giving me the wake-up call that I needed. She came from a different country, handed me many studies on delayed illness related to the 9-month recommendation, and that opened my eyes, and I brought that to my neurologist in Colorado, and, you know, she was open to doing more research, and it was really incredible to have that support, especially coming from the medical system. So yeah, that's my truth. That's my story. And I haven't really opened up about it at all on the channel. So maybe now you can see why I'm so passionate. I still get comments today saying how ridiculous I sound, and I would never do that. I love this, that, and this, and I could never give it up, and that's fine. I am not here to try and convince you or influence you to make the same decisions that I have made. I just want to, I guess, give you some information, offer it up to start questioning, like, why not? What do you have to lose at this point? Because things are going to come to the surface, whether some people like it or not. And I'm here for the ride, and I'm hoping it's all it's worth. So yes, that is my truth. But let's get into this tincture. Pain. I suffer from migraines, and a lot of people will just immediately say, you need magnesium. Yet, no, there's more to it than that. Magnesium is great, but it is nice to have some tinctures. And believe it or not, I am using a dried blend. I always like to do tinctures, 99% of them, with fresh plant matter, just because when it's dried, it's losing that water content. But to each their own. This is what I have my handle on, and I came across this recipe. I haven't made a synergy in a while. So let me read to you exactly what a synergy is, because there's synergistic, I hope I say that right, herbs, and then there's synergies. So let's talk about it. Like I said, this is the Ancient Remedies Revived, and this is by Shannon Grief and Natalie Willow, or it could be Shannon. I believe it's Shannon though. So here it is. Okay, steps, do's and don'ts creating herbal synergies. And I can't read all of this to you because you have to buy it to get the info, but I can give you a gist. So understanding herbal properties and interactions. Creating herbal synergies is both an art and a science. Patience, experimentation, and a deep respect for the natural properties of herbs are the key to crafting effective, enjoyable blends that will provide you with amazing health benefits. So I will say that I get questions about tinctures all the time, how many I should take and what works for me. If you're on traditional pharmaceuticals and you go to your doctor and you say, should I take this? 9 times out of 10, I'd say they probably would kindly tell you, hopefully, that they don't have enough information, unless you get a doctor combined herbalist. I don't know if they exist, but I feel like if you are on some pretty serious pharmaceuticals, this would be something that you would have to venture out to a different type of doctor, if that makes sense. So that being said, I can't tell you dosages, and I can't tell you what to take. I believe in the root cause, and I don't know your root cause because I don't know your health history. So not take what I say with a grain of salt. This is just something that has helped me in the past, and I'm using a third herb in this tincture that makes it a synergy. So I think it's pretty cool, the concept of a synergy where the combined effect of herbs is greater than their individual effects alone. So it's a cornerstone in ancient herbal practices. Herbalists have long known that certain combinations of herbs could yield remedies far more potent than any single herb by itself. So I needed something strong, and that is why I turned to the synergy. My migraines are debilitating. It is screaming to my body, rest, 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 which I have been trying to incorporate a little bit more into my life. I'm busy. I cannot have a debilitating migraine, and I used to get them probably 6 times a month. I thought it was part of my cycle, but then I realized that there are a number of factors that give people migraines. And that being said, do your research on yourself and try and get in tune with your body and go from there. I haven't done a sit down chat in a while, so if I'm rambling and talking a lot, this is probably my 3rd apology in this video, but I always get someone coming in like a bat out of hell saying hurry up, stop talking, you talk too long, I'm not staying around. And I always have to defend myself. This is a long form content platform, so if you want something quick, go for TikTok, go for Reels, but they want your attention span like this, and it creates issues later on in life. It's connected to early dementia and a lot of other neurological issues. So look into that before you're a big meanie and tell me to shut it. So let's get into this tincture. I'm excited because I feel like this could be helpful for many people in my family that have been popping, those ibuprofens and Tylenols like candy whenever they are in pain. And it's hard to see, honestly, now that there's information out there, and I can't wait for more information to be readily available for the public so they don't have to just go to the world's end to find basic answers to health issues. I'm hoping he does that, but you never know. You can only put so much faith in it and then just pray the rest of the day away. So this is another painkiller, the backyard painkiller. So you could use wild lettuce. I hear that a lot. It's pretty traditional, and you can find that a lot of places if you forage. I'm so indifferent with foraging. It just depends, because they are spraying things everywhere, and they're spraying them with a variety of chemicals. So I just don't trust the wild anymore, I guess. I trust deep in the woods that I know. I enjoy growing it on my own. And right now we're in this transition period where I don't have access to fresh plants, but I'm excited to announce I'm going to try an outdoor greenhouse in PA and see what I can grow. And then I also have the hydroponic setup, so I might do some herbs in there, but some of these medicinal herbs won't work. And I also want to try a hydroponic setup that I've made from a tote. So I am not showing the footage for that because I don't know if it's going to work. And you know how I am. I'm not very meticulous, and I did it without my husband. So if he did it, it would have looked a lot nicer, but we're going to see if it grows plants because that's what's important. So that is her backyard painkiller. Back to it, the wild lettuce leaves. But I have found that my body just does not respond to wild lettuce in a pain way. So here it is. Feverfew, willow bark, headache tincture. So what you're going to need is feverfew leaves, willow bark, and meadowsweet, which I love meadowsweet, and then a high proof alcohol. So I went to my local apothecary. I got all 3 of them. And then when I get dried plant matter, I just do a quick little push on it to release whatever's left, and they use mountain rose herbs. So it's nice to have that. They buy it in bulk, and then I can just scoop it that way. So mountain rose herbs is my go-to for most things, honestly, that or as your standard. But I enjoy both. I feel like mountain rose just has a better variety when it comes to medicinals, but that's just me. When I have my garden and maybe a little bit more land, I will definitely be planting a lot of this. So it's all in here. I crushed it up all together. So I have this, and then I have New Amsterdam 100 proof vodka. I like to find it in glass, but if you get it in plastic, that's fine. It's fine. And then I have a glass jar and the tops. So yeah, I'm excited. This is super easy to do. This is going to steep. This says 2 to 4 weeks, but this is dried plant matter. So I just feel, in my opinion, I just feel like it needs to stay longer, but that's, again, just my opinion. So it stays cool and dark, and it's pretty simple. We've made this before. So let's just talk about the medicinal value. Feverfew leaves contain compounds that help reduce inflammation. So inflammation is a big focus right now because I'm into metabolic health, and I feel like a inflamed body causes a lot of issues. So if you can get your inflammation down by moving, you can do lymphatic drainage, you can eat some good quality whole foods. That's super important. But moving your body really helps. You could also take turmeric. I like the brand Perfect for type 2 collagen, and that helps if you're having problems with movement, especially when it comes to inflammation. They just had a sale, and I forgot to jump on and tell everyone, but they always kind of run a sale. If you buy 3, you get a percentage off, and then if you use my code, you get another 10% off. Okay, reduce inflammation and muscle spasms, key contributors to headaches and migraines. Willow bark acts as a natural pain reliever due to its salicin content. Please don't yell at me if I pronounce that wrong, which the body converts into salicylic acid, a precursor of aspirin. So meadowsweet, with its anti-inflammatory and soothing properties, complements the blend, enhancing the overall effectiveness of the tincture. Fun fact about that aspirin: a lot of these over-the-counter and prescribed medications, they have roots in herbal medicine, believe it or not. So I just feel like that's so important to say. A lot of people think that, we're pulling herbs out of the ground randomly. No, these are ancient remedies for a reason. They've helped people. And when the pharmaceutical community got their hands on it, I do believe that some people are there. They're in it for the good, because I'm not going to sit here and say medically pharmaceuticals don't help, but I just feel like they're overused, and they've been taken over by this evil, money-hungry business model, and it's not doing us any good. They understood that they could I guess, use us for profit. So they understood that they could heal us, but at the same time create 10 more problems that would keep us dependent. So I sit here not like 50-50. I'm on the side of herbalism with no pharmaceutical intervention, but I will say I'm grateful for some of those entities, if that makes sense. So I'm not sitting here knocking your occupation or anything if you're a doctor, but I feel like there's options for you, and that's the whole point of this. So with that to say, this is probably going to be over 30 minutes again, but you know, it's just how it is sometimes. This is dried plant matter. Last time I did the passion flower, someone was like, you didn't fill it up, and I didn't, and I'm sorry. I didn't fill it up because I didn't have liquor, and we were literally moving across the country like the next day. So I'm going to pour all this in here. I'm going to top it off. This, of course, is going to expand, so, you know, keep that in mind. Here we go. Drawn in. Why do I do this? Why do I do it to myself? I have a jar filler right here. Perfect. I wanted to get half, it's maybe a little under, but that's okay. We're gonna fill it up. And this cost me $1.82. So my husband was like, oh wow, that's great. But you do have to factor in like glass jars and alcohol. Glass jars you can find a lot for free, but alcohol, you know, you can't find that for free, especially 100 proof, which just means it's 50% alcohol, 50% water. And again, with dosages, if you're new to tinctures, don't, again, be coming in here like a bat out of hell saying, like, you can't take shots of that, that's terrible, and all this other stuff. We're not taking shots. I have watched April from She Is of the Woods for so long, and I always, like, say what she says, and it's not shots, it's drops. So you have to remember that. And, you know, this recipe says to take 15 to 20. I think that's a little high to start, but, you know, I do trust this book. So all you're going to do is put a lid on it. Some people put, like, parchment paper in between it for rust issues, but I don't. And you know, if you remember to shake it, but this should not be intimidating. Healing yourself should not be intimidating. Don't go on a 3-letter agency's website and read everything they're telling you not to do, because you and your family will unalive yourselves. But there it is. I'm excited. 6 weeks and, you know, we're good to go. You can label this. You probably should label this. I always think I'm going to remember, but I don't. I don't have my label maker, so I'll just write on the top here. But I'm excited. Did you see how easy that was? It took 20 seconds, and that could have been the video, just me doing that in 20 seconds. But of course, I had to talk your ear off. So hope that was okay. And if you're new here, I would love to get to know you. So introduce yourself and let me know what other ailments you all have, so if you feel comfortable, so we can talk about it together. See the plant matter separating? It's pretty incredible. Just each herb kind of doing its own thing. So feverfew, meadowsweet, and a little bit of that willow bark in there. It's incredible. I love plants. You know how I am with all of this. It's just beautiful to see. So again, let me know your ailments and we'll make a tincture. I'm all about tinctures. I also like infusions. You know, I do my oils and my salves. I love making teas and those kinds of items. It's just been such an incredible journey of healing, and I love sharing that with you. So thank you for listening to my story, my truth. I know it was random. I know it came out of left field, but I felt compelled to share our story and share how excited I am for the future, and I can't wait to share more with you. So again, introduce yourself if you're new. Cheers to you, and I will catch you on the next one. Stay adventurous, stay creative. Bye, y'all.